The town I grew up in, Sunbright, Tennessee, is currently going through a bit of a real estate renaissance. On Red Hill Road alone, right beside my house, a road where I got into my first wreck and got my first blowjob, there are not one but two eco-friendly type cults going on, at least 3 Amish families, and a fancy guy who everyone says used to be in the CIA because he's got all these cameras and big guns and wild shit on his property, but I just think he's a prepper. Now, why am I talking about all this? It's kind of a meandering point, but the Amish themselves, who I just mentioned, are sort of taking over my area. Deer Lodge, a town over, is run amok with them. They're buying up land. Them and all the Yankees from Minnesota and elsewhere who are coming down because of politics and for cheap land are driving up the prices. It's kind of wild, especially when all these old boy farmers who ain't never had a pot to piss in but have the deed to their daddy's land are starting to realize what they can get for some of that. Well, literally this week, a good friend of mine was telling me that his own papaw is selling off the back nine, as it were, is selling a piece of land that the family's owned forever but no one really lives on. And he's found himself in a bit of a bidding war. One of the folks bidding is the Amish church. The Amish people themselves don't own any land. They own it all together. It's kind of like socialism, but we don't call it that because they're white and they don't have guns, so we're not afraid of them. The other side that's really in this bidding war is a company that wants to start getting into the chicken farming business. According to my buddy, the company is from Japan. The bidding war is between the Amish and Japanese businessmen. Now, why would I be talking about the Amish and Japanese businessmen when we are discussing today on Bubba Shot the Podcast, Sold, or Grundy County Auction by John Michael Montgomery? Does the song Sold somehow relate to the Amish or Japanese businessmen? No, it does not. But the video, the 1995 video for Sold, Grundy County Auction by John Michael Montgomery, absolutely has everything to do with the Amish and Japanese businessmen. So I'm going to ask you to pause right now, go watch that video, and join us this week on Bubba Shot the Podcast.
Bubba Shot the Podcast, and that's right, a show about country at a time.
Welcome to Bubba Shot the Podcast. Today we are doing the Grundy County Auction incident, also known as Sold. First of all, boys, the stats. This particular song came out in May of 1995. It went to number 1 and was named the number 1 song in country music of Billboard for the entire year. It was on John Michael Montgomery's self-titled album, also released in 1995. Second single he put out, second number 1 hit, but biggest hit on the album. It was written by Richard Fagan and Rob Royer. We will get into both of them. They are both very interesting. Maybe not quite as interesting as our boy Dennis Lindy, but interesting nonetheless. Gentlemen, what's up?
Hey, buddy.
That's it.
What are you doing, Trey? What are you twisting your mouth?
You pull the fishing line through your lip and then go.
Yeah.
You put it down the other one.
Yeah. I do remember that.
That was a classic elementary school move right there. For anybody's just listening, I was just making my lip hit. No, that helps. Yeah, this song rules. I know that normally we bring him in a little later, but the Indian Outlaw is with us. Tushar.
Honestly, I forgot to take him out of the stream, but I was also like,
Well, yeah. At this point, he's
it's
here
not
now.
A surprise anymore. He's going to be on every episode.
Right.
Well, as far as the show structure, I like the idea of him coming in and telling us why we don't hit.
Yeah.
But I also want him here the whole time, so it's definitely a catch-22.
What's up, Touche?
What's up, man? I'm tired as hell.
Do you not hit? You've been on a plane today.
I'm not hitting. I'm tired today.
Okay.
And I could have sworn we've done this song before.
I
we haven't.
I
may
sent
have
it.
canceled it.
No, yeah, a few like a couple weeks ago, I sent a couple different songs to the group chat. It was like, I think we should do these.
Okay.
And this one, I remember you saying, I just went and listened to it and whatever. So maybe you were. That's why you're thinking that we already covered it, but we hadn't actually covered it. But you have listened to it before.
Yeah. I mean, I was watching. I was like, I've had these racist observations before.
You're talking about the video specifically.
Yeah. What racist observations could you possibly have about this?
Well, let's get to that first.
Okay.
Yeah. All right. Do you want to start with the lyrics, or do you want to go in with the video right off the top? Of course, if you're listening, listen to the song, watch the video. We cannot play it because we always get hit with the copyright issues. But listen to the song and watch the video yourself right now. Pause this and then come back. All right. Touche, you want to get on the video? Is that what I'm hearing?
No, do the lyrics first.
You want to do the lyrics first? You sure?
Yeah. I think.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, I went down to the Grundy County auction where I saw something I just had to have. My mind told me I should proceed with caution, but my heart said go ahead and make a bid on that. Now, that's the whole first verse right there. It's just, one couplet. Short and sweet. It sets the scene. We know where we're at.
Short and sweet.
That's what I was about to say. We just realized in watching the video again just now, because the video, they run it back and do the second half of the song over again in the video just to make it 3.5 minutes long. And I never realized this whole song is only 2.5 minutes long. Every verse is super short. It's mostly that big go hard chorus they got there.
Well, the songwriter
as close as country got to rap back in the day.
I don't remember if it was one of us or I saw somebody else say or whatever, but I've
thought that.
We've definitely talked about it before, but the idea that John Michael Montgomery is as close as country should ever come to rap music, by God. Because this was kind of his whole thing, sort of, was like
bars.
Yeah.
Bars about bars.
Bars about bars. Yeah.
The songwriter talked a little bit about all that stuff in an interview I just read. So let's talk about the songwriters. The songwriters are Richard Fagan and Rob Royer. Now, Fagan was the main songwriter, and that's the first one I want to talk about. This guy's story is so funny and wild. He had a hit with Neil Diamond back in the late 70s. Then he reinvented himself in Nashville like almost a decade later, had a lot of hits with John Michael Montgomery, a guy who took him in and gave him a place to live when he was homeless, but trying to make it as a songwriter, named Tom O'Teary, believed in him and brought him in. And their story ends like 32 years later. They get drunk, get in a fight. He stabs Tom, the songwriter, Mr. Fagan does, and takes off, gets arrested for driving drunk.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Confesses to what he did. They circle back. The old boy has died, but not from the stab wound.
Tom
was determined from a heart attack.
Oh.
And he doesn't get charged with murder.
What? Okay.
Yeah.
What? I mean, clearly, I feel like being stabbed ain't good for your heart. Like, if you're in a tenuous situation with your heart,
it feels like
stabbed
was an underlying condition.
Yeah, it's like, it's like somebody like really old person with a weak heart and somebody scares them real bad and their heart just stops. Well, imagine if you stabbed them.
Right.
That's even worse.
And it's still your fault for scaring him. Like, you shouldn't have done that.
Right.
Well, when I first read it, I was like, oh, they got in a fight, and then the guy died of a heart attack, but like 3 hours later. But then the more I read, it was like they buried the stabbing in the interview that I was reading. It was like, oh yeah, and also when we fought, the last thing he said, the last thing he felt was my blade, and that haunts me.
Have I told you?
I bet.
You know how my dad's had 2
on account of you murdered him. That's why you probably ought to be haunted.
Yeah, you murdered your best friend.
Murdered with a
family
knife.
Totally forgave him. Family loves him. Family told him. This is what the family told him. Your dad would want you to keep making songs, so write a song about this.
I guess like
maybe he was a prick.
Well, also like if it's 2 old boys from this time and they was boys for a long time and they both got drunk and like they probably
one of them stabbed.
They probably fought a lot, and they both got drunk and one of them shortly stabbed the other one a little bit, and then the other one died of a heart attack or whatever. Like I can kind of see the family being like, it was only a matter of time before somebody stabbed him and then his heart exploded.
Right. I mean, dude, this is kind of different. But my dad has a heart condition and he's had 2 heart attacks. My mom tries to scare him all the time now. Like it's she'll just get him in the corner and be like, and he'll be like, God damn it, Bane, one day. And it's like you can tell her mind, she's like, yep, and they can't get me for it neither. Right. You know what I mean? So like I get it.
Well, we just put some evidence out there. Well, anyway, he said about the song, he talked about the hook or the chorus specifically and what you guys were touching on. I didn't mean to sidetrack us with the stabbing. There's a lot going on here on this episode today.
That's part of it.
Yeah.
But he pointed out that the hook. All right. Now I got to talk about the other songwriter because he had a conversation with the other songwriter about it. The other songwriter's name is Rob Royer. Rob Royer is one of the founding members of wellRED.
Okay.
The psychedelic rock band from 68, 69 era. he left the band, but he wrote some of their main hits. He left the band, was replaced in 1971, then eventually he ends up in Nashville, reinvented himself, and worked with a lot of people that we know in terms of as a songwriter, but also was in a band called Dixie Radio that I'd never heard of, but had a few, not hits, but open for some big people.
Dixie Radio?
Dixie Radio, circa 1997, 1998.
Yeah, I don't know.
Mm-mm.
I mean, that's 2 decades later, which it kind of put me in the mind of Aaron, what's his name, from Stained?
Lewis.
Yeah, you stop making it in rock, so you just moved to Nashville. Like, well, I can do this.
Yeah, except for he really is, though.
I mean, Rob Royer has a bunch of numbers as a songwriter.
But like Dixie Radio didn't, right?
No, Dixie Radio didn't hit. Ain't that the way? All the songs he
Hootie.
wrote for other people.
Mm-hmm.
Hootie very famously did that.
Darius Rucker.
They've gone country. Yeah.
Look at them roots.
Yeah,
I mean, I would argue that Taylor Swift and Casey Musgraves did that without doing that. Like, were pop, kind of, but just knew. Fuck all this transition to country. Put me on country radio right now.
Right. Just put the song out on that. Who cares?
Right. All right. Well, anyway, trying to get back to the structure of this song, which is what got me on all the songwriters. So they write that hook. Let me read the hook first, because we were talking about how short it is. So we got into the because we were talking about the verses. Here's the very long compared to the verses chorus. And I said, hey, pretty lady, won't you give me a sign? I give anything to make you mine, oh mine. I'll do your bidding and be at your beck and call. Yeah, I've never seen anyone looking so fine. Man, I got to have her. She's a one of a kind. I'm going once, going twice. I'm sold to the lady in the second row. She's an 8, she's a 9, she's a 10. I know she's got ruby red lips, blonde hair, blue eyes, and I'm about to bid my heart goodbye. In writing the song, Fagan said anybody would have ended it when they were structuring the song after I'm going once, going twice, I'm sold. That's the name of the song. It's what we're building to. It's the end of the, event or whatever. The point they're making, the little play on words. I'm sold on this lady. I'm at an auction, but I'm in love. And he said that he suggested to Royer that they keep going. And Royer was like, no, this is it. It's perfect. We're done. Then he says Royer calls him drunk the next day and was like, I was fucking wrong. You were right. And he claims that Royer would do that to him every time they would write a song together. He would be like, that's the worst idea I've ever heard. And then the next day he'd call him back and be like, that's the best idea I've ever heard. Anyway, I'm saying all that to say song structure wise, that's why this chorus is so long. And that is very uncommon for this time period. The chorus is 3 or 4 times longer than each verse.
Right.
Whereas by definition, it's supposed to be the opposite kind of. I think that's kind of cool.
The chorus makes it really feel like a rap song.
Yeah.
Like it's I don't know what rap song. I can't think of it.
And you're buying a woman.
Yeah. Well, I was so earlier when we first I was thinking I knew we would get into that. It's like he goes to an auction. He's like, there sure was a lot of meat on sale.
Yeah.
But the best meat was that bitch over there, whatever. But I knew we'd get into all that, but it occurred to me when Drew was just going through the chorus, it's him that gets sold.
Of course.
Right.
You know what I mean? They're subverting expectations.
Of course they are.
It's not the woman's been sold like meat. He's selling his heart.
Right.
He's selling his own heart.
Meat.
Yes.
Right. It's meat for meat.
Meat for meat.
Yeah.
But then at the end, I don't want to skip ahead, he hauls her heart away. And he literally has her in a truck in the video with cows in the back.
A cow in a trailer.
Yeah.
But she's in the front.
She is in the front.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we'll get in the video. Let me finish
these peppers to the house.
Y'all get it.
Yeah. Let me finish. Let's just finish it because it's short. So that's the chorus, first verse, chorus, second verse. Well, the auctioneer was going about a mile a minute. He was taking bids and calling them out loud. And I guess I was really getting in it because I just shouted out above the crowd. And I said, hey, pretty lady. And you guys just heard the chorus. The verses just serve as a way to do the chorus again.
Right.
On the one hand.
The chorus does change a little bit. This time he talks about her long black dress.
Yeah.
I thought that was the last time. Oh, you're right. It is this time.
There's only 2, isn't there?
You're right. Corey, can you pull up the lyrics real quick? There's a very important reason that I want you to. Is that possible? Yeah. Because you're going to finish it because I literally just shit my pants. I will be right back. I've had diarrhea all weekend. I just shit my pants and I have to go, and I'll be back in a minute. We're at the second course.
We'll keep going. Yeah,
We're really switching roles here, aren't
Hold
we?
on, wait a minute. Going once, I'm going twice. I'm sold to the lady in the long black dress. Well, she won my heart. It was no contest. With her ruby red lips, blonde hair, blue eyes, and I'm about to bid my heart goodbye. Yeah. We found love on the auction block and hauled her heart away. Now we still love to laugh about the way we met that day when I said, "Hey, pretty lady, won't you give me a sign? I'd give anything to make you mine, oh mine. I'd do your bidding and be at your beck and call." Oh, I've never seen anyone looking so fine. Man, I gotta have her. She's a one of a kind. I'm going once, going twice. I'm sold to the lady in the second row. She's an 8, she's a 9, she's a 10. I know she got ruby red lips, blonde hair, blue eyes. And I'm about to bid my heart goodbye.
All right, yeah, we didn't have to look them up.
No. Also, I think that right there might be enough to get us in trouble. We'll see. But
yeah, right, because it's so accurate.
Yeah, right.
They're definitely going to flag it.
Yeah.
Wait, is that John Michael
You
Montgomery?
guys hear that stirring rendition? John Michael.
Can I tell you why I love you guys? Drew shits his pants,
Yeah.
and you guys don't even make a big deal of it. You're like, well, sure.
Now,
Well, we had some business to attend to,
Seen
much
it.
like Drew did.
saying it one too many times, Captain.
No, we should talk about Drew shitting his
When he
pants.
comes back, it's not, like when he comes back, let's
It's not
talk
funny.
about
Yeah.
it. Have you ever shit your pants? Tushar?
Sure.
I say that.
Sure.
Right. I feel like Indians have to shit their pants a lot.
On account of the food?
Yeah.
Is that why?
Yes. Although,
But
y'all
maybe-
are used to
I'm about to
it.
say, it just makes us shit.
Our pants. Yeah, right.
That's how
I
they get it.
feel, yeah, I have a few times where I'm coming home and it just, if you made it out, few brown turds made it to freedom
Yeah.
across the plane.
I'm certain that
That's
that's going to
never-
be the clip that gets picked for this podcast is me going, I bet Indians shit themselves a lot.
And I'm like, yeah, totally.
Oh, here he is. No.
Nope. Gotta wash his hands.
Well, Tushar, we've discussed this on our other podcast. Do you consider it shitting yourself if it doesn't get in your underwear, like if it stays between the cheeks?
No.
Yes.
Yeah. Keeping it between the cheeks.
Keeping it
Yes,
between
if
the
it's-
cheeks.
if
That's
it-
really-
if
Oh,
it-
we're on the
If it-
keeping it between the tweaks.
If it escapes,
Keeping it between the cheeks.
if it escapes the plane of the anus, you shit yourself.
Yeah.
Okay.
The only questionable thing is a wet fart. If it's a wet fart, then
Yeah, but that's still shit.
So here's the thing. I've had diarrhea all weekend, but it's been over, I thought, since last night. So I trusted that fart.
It's never over.
Right. So I trusted that fart. And by every definition of shitting your pants, I just shit my pants.
Like,
Every
it's
plane.
Oh, Rocky.
It's not over.
It's never over. Give me something to drink. His ball sack is Mickey. Come on, Rock. Come on, Rock.
My ball sack looks like Mickey.
Everybody's ball sack looks like Mickey.
That's probably true. Man, I was gonna say my dick looks like Adrian, but my pubes are too light.
Yeah.
light power.
All right. Did you guys make any progress, or did you just make fun of
No,
me?
We did all the rest of the lyrics.
We did the rest of the lyrics, and then when
Okay.
we asked Tushar, I made the blanket statement. I bet Indians shit themselves a lot.
Yeah, and I concurred. I passively concurred.
You concurred.
I
And then we
concurred.
moved on, and then you were back.
All right. I think every race shits themselves a lot. Who shits themselves the least?
Do what?
I think it's the Japanese. I think so too.
Italians.
No.
Yeah, 'cause they eat
Italians.
so much cheese. They
Ah.
plugged.
They do, but I bet they're plugged for like 2 weeks, and then for 2 days it's like hard on them.
Italians definitely shit their pants.
Of course, everyone shits them. Everyone shits their pants. I bet the Chinese shit themselves the least because they're a very
I
It's
think the
Japanese.
Japanese is the right call. I
'Cause
think the
like-
Japanese shit
'cause
themselves the least because they're very.
they would
Let-
be too ashamed.
they're
to
very
even accidentally-
business-like
That's
people.
what I'm saying.
yeah.
Let's
yeah,
not
you
explore
go
this
back
much
in
further because it's going to get racist.
Sicily.
They're fucking kill themselves with it.
Yeah,
Well-
that's a bit much.
Back to the country music podcast.
I have dishonored my underwear.
Okay.
Okay, back to Grady.
But we're complimenting them.
Of
We're
course,
saying
they would never shit themselves.
Least.
They're serious people.
Hey, they're in this video.
They are.
Japanese.
Yeah.
Yes, they are.
Speaking of the video,
businessmen.
Yeah.
Well, let's get into the video because
Got down to business too.
I feel like the video
Whooping
is.
Amish ass in a dance off.
You think they won?
Huh?
You think the Japanese?
No. Actually, I think the Amish won based on what we saw in the video.
Well, the Amish. I'm pretty sure those were rodeo clowns dressed up as Amish.
I mean, they weren't Amish,
Right.
Right. But I mean, the style of dancing that they were doing.
dressed up as Amish.
Right, but the style of dancing that they were doing, they look like rodeo clowns.
What do you
Yeah.
call that?
They were the Soggy
What
Bottom Boys.
Are they hoeing down?
This one right here, when they were doing this, that's
Yeah.
called the ham bone.
Yep,
And I know
that's a
that's
ham
called
bone.
the ham bone because that's my father-in-law's go-to move. When he gets drunk, no matter where we are, he just starts doing the ham bone. He's
Okay,
like, look at him, ham bone.
What's that called? What's that genre of dance called? It's got to have a
Spoons?
name.
I'm calling it rodeo clown. I mean, don't it look like the way they dance in 8
I think
seconds?
that the rodeo clowns are just doing that thing that also.
It's like country dancing. It's like line dancing without line dancing. That's a
It's
whole
like-
country style. They do that because they do the heel toe with the boots
Oh,
on,
the pop and lock.
and this thing back and forth. That stuff there.
Yeah,
You see that at like so many country music videos have that move,
yeah.
and
It's
you see a
also
lot of
how-
cowboys doing that at rodeos.
It's also
there you
how
go.
Lloyd and Harry dance and Dumb and Dumber.
Yeah,
Yeah.
is it
It's
river
stupid.
dancey?
but cowboy dancing's a thing,
Yeah, it is. It's
mean, yeah, I
that's
know.
how you'd have to dance if you were wearing big boots, you know?
and you've been
definitely a
you've
thing.
been
I
in
was
the
wondering if
saddle
there
all
was a
day, so
name for it that I
you're
didn't
bow legged. It ain't just cowboy dancing.
It's called. I guess it is called country western dancing. That's the first thing I can find on it. Just a very
It's just that's how white people dance.
cursory
Man.
googling.
Speaking of white people, that's definitely like a great example of us blowing it culturally. That's a whole culture, and it's not the best in the world, but it's cool. And then we name it country and western dancing. It's like
Right.
call it cow poking. That'd be rad.
Right.
Cow poking. There you go. Yeah, I thought hoeing down,
Yeah, hoe it down.
baby.
Yeah,
Out there and hoe it down.
How it
man,
down.
best hoe downer I've ever seen was Hambone Jones.
Tear it up, hoe it down. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And he never got no credit. They wouldn't let him on the circuit on account he only had one leg. I thought that's what made him hit though.
Oh, ham bone.
Maybe light it up, hoe it down.
Light it up, hoe it down.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm for that.
Get your girl spin around.
Mm-hmm.
You guys been drinking, ain't you?
No,
No.
I'm very
not
high.
Boned?
Yeah.
I'm neither.
I
got- Alright.
I got a fanny pack, and so I just always have my weed with me now. And I got these new chili mango ones, and they're so tasty that I just keep eating them, and I'm just real high.
That'll fuck you up, man. Peanut butter one got me in Denver. I've told that story though. Let's get into this video. The first thing, they've got the cows. It comes in. You see the blonde woman. We've already touched on the first thing you notice when you watch the video is the very 1990s way of showing the different groups. You've got the Japanese cowboys sitting all together with their hats. You got the Amish and they're battling, and then you got this freeze frame, close up on John Michael. I forgot how good looking that sumbitch is.
Well, I'm glad you
Or
said
was.
that and what you said before, because the first thing that I noticed about this video is how John Michael Montgomery looks like he could be on a country music video today because of that. Now everybody dresses like the 90s.
Yep.
Like he was kind of wearing like a snapback hat and like an old, which today you would get from a thrift store shirt, but like everything about him in that video, I was like, this is very 90s, but like if that dude was doing a music video today, I'd be like, he looks today as well. And yes, he's very good looking.
No cowboy hat.
Flat
No,
bill.
I don't think he has cowboy boots on.
Flat
Yeah.
bill.
And he's got but he
but
has no charisma.
I was about to say, I didn't know exactly where y'all were going with this because I felt like watching him that it was kind of funny how
I just meant aesthetically.
Right, but he
Yeah.
as far as like
He wasn't
the
selling it.
showmanship or
None.
whatever of it, it was very, very subdued and
Yeah.
super white and
Yeah.
not overly charismatic with the whole, like at one point he had a cowboy hat on at one point, didn't he? Because he pulled it off, or was that his ball cap that he pulled off?
I don't
But it
remember.
was one where it was
I don't
like,
remember him having a change.
He had a cowboy
said
hat.
something-
Oh, you're right. Yeah, you're
He's
right.
Yeah. And he's
He
like,
changed his hat.
God damn it. I can't remember the line, but he says something. He takes his head off, puts it over his heart, and he's like, "Mrr," but in a very, like, I felt in a very half-ass way. And like, he just like slowly stands up at one point and like puts his hands on his chest. And he's just like,
Boys, I could be wrong.
Give me a sign, but he's not like.
I
he
definitely
ain't
expected
selling,
more from that video.
He ain't selling none of it. In my opinion.
You expected more than a dance battle between the Amish and
From
Japanese
him.
businessmen?
No, from him. Yeah.
Yeah, he didn't have the. I think I could be wrong. I think this man wears a cowboy hat in the parts of the video where he's down in the pit. It's like out of respect. Now, if I'm gonna be in the pit in this part, I got to wear my cowboy hat.
Yeah. Well, he was amongst the Japanese. They love cowboy hats,
especially Japanese businessmen who operate in beef. Now that part, that's like that's accurate.
That's one of them stereotypes that like it's very much a stereotype. But A, who's it hurting? And B, it's so fucking true. Like that's such a thing.
The cowboy hat thing.
Japanese businessman loving cowboy hats. Yeah, dog. They love that shit. And again, I mean this in a good way. They do.
Everybody does.
Them working beef and oil and stuff.
They definitely a lot of them working beef.
If you work in beef and oil, you like cowboy hats and whores. I don't care who you are.
They love John Wayne. They love fucking Stan Hansen, the wrestler, like Japanese business.
That's how you know this shit.
Yeah.
Because of the wrestling connection.
Well, that and there's a.
I'm not doubting this. I just, in my head, I was like, how does he know
that
all this stuff
and an
about
episode
Japanese
of
businessman?
That and an episode of Seinfeld where Kramer points it out. So two things, and I'm convinced that it's correct.
Tushar, I got to say, for a segment that's entirely about racism, you're awful quiet.
I just did want to throw in that I was like, what's with the Chinese guys? And you actually called them Japanese. How do you know they're Japanese?
Because they're businessmen.
I think
because they operate in beef.
I was
and
like,
also because I know they don't all look the same to me. Tushar. Jesus.
I think I feel like, and I'm sure I could get it wrong a lot, but I feel like I can tell when somebody is Japanese. I think
and Korean.
Famous last words.
Yeah.
I don't know. Don't give me a lineup.
Don't give me a lineup.
But I feel like the Japanese, they do have. I feel like the Japanese have a kind of a distinctive sort of look. I feel like, but also the fact that yes, they were businessmen and Japanese businessmen is definitely like a stereotype,
especially in the beef world, right? Kobe beef is
Kobe beef, they're
oil
beef and shit. I mean, I assume that the people that did this video and whatnot, like,
wanted it to be historically accurate,
knew about beef auctions.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, there's Amish at beef auctions.
Japanese wearing cowboy hats. Pew, 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 pew.
Yeah, and they have dance battles. It's completely accurate.
They have dance battles. I'm just saying. They didn't just literally say, we had some Japanese in here.
Dude. At no point when someone was making a country music video that they think, let's just get Japanese people for no reason.
Somebody, I think, was like, how when you go to big beef auctions, how a lot of times you'll see Japanese, ain't that the damnedest thing?
And one woman.
Like, and and everybody talks about wanting to fuck her.
Yeah, right.
I got
Can we buy her? That's a #1 record.
It's definitely either that or somebody was like, what would hit? The ninjas versus the Amish.
Yeah,
and they went with that.
Tushar, are the Japanese have you been to an auction, a beef auction?
No,
not a big one.
I've been to car auctions with my grandpa.
I've been to small farm auctions, but there wasn't a lot of beef going on there. There might have been one cow.
Is the purpose of this auction to buy beef for what? Like
mostly
to make beef with.
I know this is offensive to you too, Charlotte. They just auction off.
No, it's also
taking our gods.
It's also breeding.
These cows got to work too, Char.
Yeah, it's also breeding. They will do like bulls.
That was my question.
Yeah, it's both.
Yeah, you got your stud cows, you got your beef cows, you got your milk cows. You know what I mean?
Okay.
None of which do we kneel before.
You got to kneel to milk them.
Right.
I feel like I should be offended by the act of, but I love cheeseburgers, so I can't say shit.
I know.
What are you gonna do?
Yeah, I mean the auctioning part is just it's just simply a way to everybody. It's like a marketplace, It's like it's a beef market. What are you gonna do?
Well, hey, is that ever? They do show cows at the end, don't they?
Yeah,
I was gonna say it don't ever say that it is beef,
in the beginning. They open with cows and close with cows.
Yeah. Okay. All right. I didn't know if we were all just sort of taking that for granted, but you're right. I remember it did actually show cows now.
Well, and that pit that they have with pigs, you wouldn't need to see pigs walk around. It would just be like fucking not troughs, individual. You know what I'm trying to say? Yeah, cages.
Stalls.
Yeah, stalls. So I think it's just, there's a lot of allusions to it being beef exclusively.
Are Amish people considered your redneck brethren?
No.
Hell no.
No,
But
they
they're
don't.
they're
No,
poor.
they
They're
don't.
poor. But hold on.
they're
First of all, they're not
poor
poor.
whites.
They're not poor.
They're not poor, and they don't.
They
blow
have
stuff
old
up.
clothes. They don't. Yeah, exactly. They're not allowed to blow stuff
Their
up.
cars
They
don't
can't be
go
redneck.
fast because they don't even fucking have them. They literally 2 horsepower. That's
They
all
do
have.
do
It don't
meth.
fit.
They do
Buggy and a
meth.
truck, for sure.
Their butter hits.
Their butter does hit.
But
Really
if they're in my head, if they're rural whites,
Yeah.
then why
They're
can't they
just
be
so
part of your?
different.
Also,
tribe?
they're all Yankees. Like that's changing, and they're now coming south.
Look,
But they're
I hear
all
you.
Yankees.
You
they're
see what I'm
rural-
saying, though?
They're rural Southerners that work off the land and are super into their god. That does sound rednecky, but like rednecks also have fun. You know what I mean?
That's true. Yeah,
I think
and
he's
I
got you
remember,
there.
dude.
I'm just.
We have Amish in my hometown. We got an Amish community there, and have as long as I can remember. And like the rednecks in town, they're very much like a different thing. I remember they would like talk. People
They're
would
judgy.
People would go and buy their produce and shit from them or whatever, but they would also they were. They're very isolationist.
Yeah.
Obviously, that's part of their whole thing. But also, I went out there once with my driver's ed teacher. Made me drive him out to the Amish
Because he was drunk.
because he was going to buy no, he just whatever, we ain't gonna, hell, he hit. But anyway,
Yeah, right. Don't
we drove
don't
in,
throw him under the bus.
drove into the,
Don't throw them into the horse and buggy.
he was going to he wanted to buy his daughter a rabbit for Easter, which is a commitment, but that's fine. And he had me drive him to the Amish for that, and I went out there with him, and I'd never interacted with the Amish before, and I'll never forget, because this is not how they're supposed to be, like Pennsylvania Dutch or whatever,
Yeah.
which is actually German and whatnot. But I swear to God, the dude came up and he would say something like, "Well, you came to see the rabbits." That's how he sounded to me.
Right.
It may not have been that hardcore, sort of Scotch Irishy sounding or whatever, but he didn't sound German.
Because normally they're
But he
like,
also- Yeah, right. But either way, they don't sound like us either. is what I'm saying.
No,
They
That's a
sound
big
like-
part of it.
Yeah,
They're Yankees.
They're foreign white people. That ain't it.
they're like foreigners.
They're European,
in
yeah,
our
they're
own
European.
town, and they keep themselves apart so much too that there's no cultural.
And they don't have
bonding
mustaches.
or whatever.
Just
they
beard.
do break dance though.
Apparently.
The movie Kingpin was my only insight into the Amish world.
And he's a good one. He goes on Rumspringa. And
I was gonna say, other than Rumspringa documentaries and the 5 times our families made us go with them to buy butter, us too, buddy. I
I'm
mean, that's
currently
why
watching
they're not
Banshee.
rednecks. We don't talk to them. I see them. They get on the road in front of me with their buggies. I get annoyed and go,
That don't help
drive
for
around them.
nobody.
dude, I'm watching Banshee right now.
Oop, I got to
and so
poop.
The big bad in the first season of Banshee, I assume for a while, he thanks Drew. We got it. And he's Amish. He was Amish, and then he left, and so he's now being shunned by the Amish. And
They shun.
they shun like a mother.
shun the fuck
They're
out
shun.
of
Yeah,
us.
but he's like a bad guy. Like he genuinely a bad guy. But you definitely, while watching the show, go, yeah. But I mean, fuck them for shunning him. Like you're
Dude.
still mad at the Amish.
Dude, shunning and churning, churning and shunning.
They love
That's
to
what
shun,
they-
dude.
and churn, dude.
And the
They
Office,
churn all
you've got
goddamn
experience
day.
with the Amish because of the Office, right, Tushar?
The Office?
You didn't watch the Office,
No,
really?
I stopped caring about stuff like
Yeah,
that.
you could stop caring about it, but if you watch the first several seasons, like Dwight and his brother, like got the
Yeah.
Amish thing going.
No, I don't hit today.
Mose, Mose. That's Mose. Michael Schur.
Michael Schur, the creator,
Yeah, he
plays
really-
an Amish guy.
And every scene he hits in it real hard.
Yeah, they don't fuck with Amish. Just don't. They don't have any art, do they?
No.
I
they
get
don't
they
have
probably
a
make
dog, they
like
have
basket
corn
fun.
dolls,
Yeah, right.
little dolls out of corn,
Like
and
this,
shit,
their hair is the corn silk and shit.
stuff like
And
that.
I'm certain that they draw Jesus like a motherfucker, like real badly.
I don't know. That might be like a rule you can't
Sacrilegious.
break. Yeah, you know how Muslims be.
Right. No,
Amish are a lot like Muslims in that way.
they are.
Hey, say no more.
The Muslim-
I hate them.
Stone Age.
Amish, the Muslims of the North.
not all Muslims, goddamn. But look, Taliban don't hit.
No, Taliban don't hit.
Taliban
And Amish are pretty Taliban.
They're the Taliban
of Pennsylvania.
Christians.
Yeah,
White Taliban.
Yeah,
white
Taliban.
They just can't fly planes, you know.
No,
It's against
exactly.
the law.
Yeah,
They'll run a buggy
into
a
a federal building. It just won't.
With no explosives.
God, dude.
At least Drew's not here to know when to cut.
Yeah, right. I'm talking specifically about the goddamn terrorists.
Of
ones.
course.
We can make fun of them, goddamn.
Of course, dude. The Taliban don't hit.
I'm not making blanket statements about all Muslims. We are about the Amish, but who cares? You know,
they pray 3 times a day. That's a blanket statement.
That is a blanket statement. Right there it is. There it is.
Yeah.
No, actually, I think I told y'all this, but I don't know if I mentioned it on the mic. We on the wellRED podcast sort of went in on Amish for a while, one episode.
Yeah.
So we like to do that.
And we didn't hear from any of them.
That's not true. That's what I was about to bring up.
Oh, really?
We made that, it's old jokes like, why can you tell Amish jokes because they'll never hear about it anyway or something like that, we shit on the Amish on wellRED episode, and I sure enough got a Facebook message from somebody. I didn't read the whole thing, obviously, because it was a wall of text and it started with
written in Old English.
I just want y'all to know, all caps, you've got the Amish all wrong. And I was just like, yeah, no, I ain't fucking with that.
Yeah, no, I don't. Oh, because this message seems really annoying and stupid, which is exactly what I said the Amish are. So I don't think I had them all wrong.
It's also like how they emailing us. That feels
exactly. They're not doing it the right way.
Well, or maybe that's why we got wrong.
Have y'all heard that anti-COVID Amish joke that the conservatives just love, dude? They love it. I've seen it a million times on the internet and stuff. And I overheard it. Well, I can't remember where I was at, but I overheard somebody say it too. I think walking down the street here in Burbank, and it was like, it's like, you know why the Amish it's like set up. It's like I was talking to an Amish person and the Amish guy said to me, do you know why we don't have COVID?
Because we don't have the news.
Because we don't have television.
Right.
Yeah. And they think it's like brilliant, they're like, see, what about that? As though the Amish aren't also dying from this. It's just like
it's also why we get away with a lot of family rape.
Right. Yeah. Right. We don't know none of the shit that's going on with them. They're 100% dying from COVID, but they just think, well, Jebediah coughed to death like his daddy did before him.
Right.
Throw him, in the corn, fertilize the corn with him or whatever, and fucking let's keep going.
Yeah.
I'm really on one in this episode.
I thought you were drunk, son.
I'm not. I'm totally sober. I'm just being.
Can I have fertilize the corn?
Keep it real.
He's put your wife beater on, son. You got your red up.
Dude,
can I have fertilize the corn?
Around everybody. God damn. And man, not tell
can't
some
say
joke,
shit
can't
anymore.
Say nothing
God damn. I can't sit here with my buddy and talk shit about other people, races, and cultures.
Trey, can I have fertilize the corn with him? That fits probably 5 of my jokes, but one very specific.
Yeah, go for it. That's something people used to talk about. I said this on the wellRED podcast, but people in Salina used to talk about like it was a very shadowy rumor about them. Like, they fertilize their crops with their own shit. So it's just like, as opposed to cow shit, horse shit, like I'm fine with that. It's poop either way. Like,
our poop hits harder than a cow's poop.
Who gives a fuck? But
I get that.
People held against them in Salina.
I get why you're saying that, and I agree with you 100%. But people make that point about breast milk, and I gotta say, I'm like, ugh. People will be like, why? They'll be like, why shouldn't I drink my wife's breast milk? You drink a fucking cow's milk.
Regular milk hits harder.
Logically, it's the same thing.
No, it ain't. It don't taste as good.
I agree with that. But, how do we know that human shit creates better corn?
I'm just saying it's no more disgusting.
I think. And
that's what I'm saying.
I did not even a little bit do this, but I feel like, if your wife's fine with it and you want to drink her titty milk or whatever, I feel like that's sort of that. But dude, guys get on Craigslist and buy titty milk.
Well, yeah, that's weird.
Just whatever.
As a fetish?
Get it from, and that's pretty wild. It is a fetish, I'm sure, but also like, aren't there like super hippy dippy places that make like breast milk ice cream and shit like that?
Of course, our pussy yogurt. They do that.
No, there was a guy who made human breast milk.
Sounds like
hold on. There was a guy who made human breast milk in New York. He got in trouble because it like blew up. His business blew up or whatever, and he didn't have a license or any of that. But I don't think there's like an official business doing that. There may be. I know bodybuilders like human breast milk.
Yeah, dude, they'll do it. They'll do anything though. Like I mean, I know. I guess
horse
this is
cum
involved in a lot of places. They eat horse a lot. It's like one of the number one things for them to eat is horse, and they drink breast milk and stuff. But dude, they're intense, man.
That ain't it.
This is the most well-read episode of Bubba Shot the Podcast we've had.
For sure. Well, quit going to take a shit and letting me and Trace steer the goddamn shit.
Well, buddy, I ain't nothing I can do about that. I thought I was done with this.
Tushar, what do you think about the song? We can talk about the song.
I know y'all mentioned.
Sorry, I thought it was really simple. Like it was the most simple song we've done. Everything else had complex. Like the last song we did before this was just it was poetry, and this one was just a straight up, "You're hot, I want you, let's do this," and it was very repetitive, and so I thought it was a very basic song. What is this classified under? Would it be like what
chart topper?
Chart topper, like
yeah.
Now, what do you mean?
No, but you know how there's different types of. There's the different classifications of country music. What would this?
It's pop country.
Definitely
It's 90s pop country. You got to do era when you say pop country. It's 90s pop country. It's silly. It does have a story, which is part of why I chose it. I also chose it as a follow-up to Fancy because it's, as you said, it's goofy. So it's like, oh, this is a palate cleanser, you know. Right. But it does tell a complete story because he hauls her heart away. And I got to say, as goofy as it is, and I agree with you that it's goofy, I could see it happening. If a very charming with those dimples, if John Michael Montgomery had any charm in this video, and he was at an auction and was like, "Hey, girl, why don't you give me a sign?" And then maybe I'll bid on you. I could see it happening. It'd be like a little cute meet.
This is one of those songs just like John Deere Green, where I'm every time I hear it, I'm dying to hear a song about these people 10 years from this moment. You know what I mean? Like songs about the moment you fall in love are always like this beautiful moment. It's like, dude, even 9 months from now, I want to hear what these.
No. John Deere Green.
They spanned a lifetime.
Billy Bob and Charlene
still together
for a long time.
That's true.
They raised corn kids and tomatoes.
That's true.
Yeah.
That's true.
Raised the kids all the way up.
All right, let's save that now. We will do that song.
John Deere Green is a retrospective.
That's true. Okay, you're right.
Yeah.
My bad. We'll get into that later.
When Trey suggested this one, and then I was like, all right, we'll do it this week. I thought we would get way more into it, and we have already discussed it. The uniqueness of the song. The fact that it's kind of a rap song.
Right. Yeah, I mean, it's funny because, we were just talking about on the wellRED podcast about that goddamn song Fancy Like or whatever, which is a smash pop country hit right now, and how literally when I first heard it, I thought that it was like a really bad rap song that Applebee's had commissioned or whatever. And then I realized, oh shit, this is a country song. But it's like today there's so much more like rap elements going on. But no one was saying this or thinking this about John Michael Montgomery when this shit came out, by the way. That wasn't like part of it.
No.
It's just when you like sort of listen to it now and think about it, you sort of realize it's just like he got bars. Yeah, just like the fast-paced nature. It's very rapid fire and everything, and so you kind of notice the similarities, but that wasn't like part of it. Whereas today,
it would have been
a huge part of it.
I think it would have been bad from his perspective if people started bringing that up. It would have made a lot of old boys be like, "Oh, they don't hit, fuck rap,"
Yeah, absolutely. Because even like 6 or 7 years later, when like Nelly and Tim McGraw did a thing, like it inarguably hit for a lot of people because it was a huge hit. But like, there's a huge sector of country that did not fucking hit for, and that was later. This was mid-90s. No, that would not have hit.
Okay, I agree with y'all. I think that another thing I wanted to talk about when we got into it. Hold on, I got to pull up the lyrics.
You want me and Trey just to sing them to you?
No, it's okay. Oh, this is also in the video, and we have touched on it, so maybe we don't need to get into it. But I did have a note of like, We Found Love on the Auction Block, and I Hauled Her Heart Away. And we've already mentioned this. He delivers that as he's walking in front of cows, and then he walks up to her, and that very cute actress has a lot of personality, and then he looks at her with no personality.
Yeah.
That's a very time-specific. It's sweet, but it's also, and again, we've touched on this, a little like, ugh,
right.
I bought her.
Yeah, right. Like, I know a lot of people would be like, "Oh, you couldn't make this video today," and it's like, "Oh, you could. You wouldn't." You know what I mean? Like, this wouldn't be. I don't think.
Maybe. I don't know.
Maybe,
what do you think about that?
But like, hell, country music is now, even maybe more than ever, is like every other lyric is about painted on jeans and like women kind of being objects. Like, at least back then, like they had some sort of autonomy. Like, you know, at least other people could have bought her. Okay. You know.
So
well, that's the way that they get past. That's how they got over their fear of rap. It was like, listen, when you stop being mad about how they're black, they got some good ideas about guns and women.
Right, exactly, right. And owning land.
So we said earlier, it was like, oh yeah, John Michael Montgomery is as close to rap as country should ever come. God damn it, or whatever. And we're talking about that, and in my head, I was like, was it just this song though? Because I knew he had slow songs like "I Can Love You Like That" and shit like that. And I was thinking, I was like, I know there was more to it than that. So I looked it up, and there was also "Be My Baby Tonight." Remember that? It's like, could you, would you, ain't you gonna? If I ask you, would you want to be my baby tonight? Take a chance, slow dance, make a little romance. Honey, be all right. Girl, you got me wishing we was hugging. Holding each other tight. Could you, would you, ain't you gonna? If I asked you, would you want to be my baby tonight? That's rappy too.
What do you think of that, Tushar? One of the songwriters, Fagan, in an interview, talked about that and the speed of it, and said that's definitely one of the things that set it apart. And that a few people, he offered it to a few other people, he didn't name names, and they didn't feel like they could do it, and that he felt like John Michael really had chops for being able to do that. Then he mentioned a song that I cannot find, or I couldn't earlier, called "Hectic," that he says is the only country song he knows of that's written faster. And it was written by a songwriter buddy of his, but no one would cut it because no one could do it. And anyway, that's just something to think about or interesting about country music in general. There's no Busta Rhymes of country music. I mean, I guess it's John Michael. I guess John Michael is the
Montgomery. Yeah. I didn't realize. I'm certain Corey and maybe you also knew and have always known this, but I didn't realize till just now trying to find that other song that John Michael Montgomery was
Eddie Montgomery's cousin.
Brother
is his brother.
Yeah, from Montgomery Gentry.
They should just get together now.
I never put that. Well, apparently they started singing as a duo.
Yeah.
And then they, even though they're brothers, they split up, and one of them made it as part of a duo.
Right.
But not with his brother, and then his brother made it
they clearly just
solo.
Don't have
was that the order that it went in, or did John Michael make it solo first?
That's what happened.
I think that there was some jealousy and it was like, I'm going to go on my own. You're holding me back. And I don't know which one said that to the other, but I know which one was right.
I've met Eddie Montgomery several times, and he's a good guy, and I think he's talented, but he definitely needs another person. You know what I mean?
Right.
For sure. Now that poor Troy's dead, I kind of wish they'd get back together and start hitting. Yeah. Or I very don't wish that, because who knows what would happen.
I do wonder though. Well, let's look it up. Maybe there's some information on the internet. I wonder if they broke up because John Michael was like, I don't need you anymore.
I bet they don't hit for each other.
Get away with the songs, because I don't know how that would all work. But like,
they just
if
did
John Michael and Eddie Montgomery got together as a duo and did both John Michael Montgomery hits and Montgomery Gentry hits,
I'm in.
As a show, would fucking slap.
It would slap. Surely they've thought about
that.
Have
John Michael fill in for Gentry.
John Michael Montgomery Gentry. It's right there.
It's right there. Yeah, it looks like they've covered Keith Whitley together.
Do what?
Never mind. It's an old video. It's a new article, but it's an old video. It was like it's a video of them covering Keith Whitley, and I thought it was recent because it was a recent article. Here is a clip of Eddie Montgomery talking about working with his brother. If I can figure out how to share the goddamn sound, I could play it for you guys. Does anyone have any tips, Trey?
No, I don't know shit about StreamYard really.
Oh, I thought that's what you used with SKU.
No, we use Restream. It's called.
Yeah.
I don't know about this. Fuck. I was
What's
about to
wrong?
say something.
What was it, Trey?
What was it? It was
About the song.
I think it had something to do with the song.
There you
yeah.
go. There should be a little button.
But
that's
I
like
can't
share sound.
remember.
That was definitely Eddie Montgomery looking like he's about to
damn it.
fucking bury a pizza.
Oh, I remember what it was.
Any thought?
Both I Can Love You Like That
Mhm.
and I Swear.
Yeah, we're him. Right.
But those were covers of the All for One and Boys to Men
Casey and
songs.
JoJo? Oh,
Weren't they?
I think so.
They were R&B first,
yeah,
is what I'm saying.
Yes.
Well, that was the whole thing with country, and I wouldn't be surprised if it still is.
Yeah,
that
they
used
took
to
a lot of
happen
black
all the
stuff.
time. Yeah, imagine
I
that.
know.
But I was just curious if Tushar knew anything about that. I realized that was like a trend for a while. There
granted-
would be like R&B rap song or R&B like love songs. I meant to say.
There was an NSYNC Alabama one or crossover. I
Yeah,
think.
God must have spent a little more time
Yeah.
on you.
what a
Where
piece of
they
shit.
the country artist would just cover this
Yeah.
slow song, but in country fashion, it would become a chart topper. That had for you.
No, you're saying country
All right,
songs
Farley.
take from R&B. They take
What?
from R&B and sample their music.
Not sample,
Not
just
sample,
do a
just
cover.
cover of it.
Just do a cover song of
okay,
but
okay.
like
And way different.
not years later though is the thing. Like,
Immediately,
a
like,
year later
They would
or-
come
yeah.
out. Sometimes almost seem concurrently. They would come out.
Well, I mean, way back in the day, that was like a big part of the business model when they were first
Yeah,
splitting
but-
up white and black music.
They would just steal it. Like they would just be like, "Hey, the white guy did it." And
Not
this
all,
one, they're at
not
least-
not always. A lot of times, what it was is the same
No,
record
you know what?
company.
John Michael Montgomery's "I Swear" was first.
Boom!
All
Take
for
that.
One, all for one. all for one did it separately. So I apologize. John
And it wasn't
Michael.
always them taking it. Back in the day, what it would be a lot of times
It's
is
the goddamn white race too, buddy.
Goddamn,
Capital-
I Can Love You Like That wasn't even one of those. Oh no, it was. All for One did both of these.
oh yeah,
One covered two John Michael Montgomery.
they did
songs.
same year.
That's
Ooh,
wild.
That is wild. I definitely
Say
thought
it.
they did away.
Say the word.
All right,
Is that a white dude?
That's definitely a white guy. He's one of them like vanilla.
you guys
ice
seem to be
white.
having fun on the phone that we can't see. What I was trying to say is it's the same. Like it's the same business model. It's a situation where like Capitol Records owns the song,
right.
and
They're like, let's
back in
double
the
dip to a
day,
different
it
market.
was.
Yeah.
Back in the day, it was like there's black radio stations and there's white radio stations. There's no crossover because of segregation. So we put the song on both of them to capitalize on the money. Why All for One took that back up and ran with it, I'm not sure. But it happened. Didn't that Brian Adams.
Brian McKnight.
Brian McKnight had that situation, right?
I don't remember which white did his shit.
Gary.
Gary
Yeah.
Allen.
Yeah, Gary Allen did, I think, a Brian McKnight song. I think I've got the names right. Did Gary Allen's wife die of cancer?
Probably.
Whichever one of them's wife died of cancer, he did a Brian McKnight song, and I remember everybody was like, "Oh, it totally changes the meaning." You know what I mean?
Right.
I don't know. I don't remember none of that. I believe you, but none of that's ringing a bell for me. Brian McKnight used to hit for me. Anytime is a jam.
One.
Back at one.
I think
That's back.
it's-
Back
yeah.
at one is the shit.
I think there's a country version of that.
But anytime,
There is, I think.
anytime is pure sex.
I was always told, maybe this is because I was in Alabama and then people who like country music, but they would always be proud of saying, "Oh, everyone steals from country." Like every genre steals from the storytelling ability of country. I don't know how true that is.
I mean, it is true, but it's like saying, everyone steals from music. I mean, you know what I mean? It's like storytelling is storytelling, but
Right.
yeah.
But then there's plenty of people that would tell you like country music was stolen from African tribes. So
way
like,
more people stole all the stuff that the black people came up with and made hit
for sure.
first.
Well, I mean,
And
especially in
built
rock and roll.
independently.
That's
But I
way
do
more
not
true in
doubt
rock
that
and
in
roll.
Alabama, you heard so many people going like, "They've taken all our shit."
They take the white man's stuff.
Yeah,
Hell, they were probably talking about All for One.
I guarantee it.
All for One was on a tear back then.
around that time. All right, you guys. Any last thoughts before we give it a rating?
I mean, just that I'll be honest, I know you're going to say like, really with the Japanese businessman, the Amish, I was pretty underwhelmed by the video. I think it's like it seems like it's the first time I've seen it I probably saw it when I was a kid, if I had to guess, because this song was like, it just seemed like ubiquitous for a couple years. Like this song was just always on, and I loved it. I mean, I still love it, for the record. Like I think it's a great song. It's super catchy. This song is definitely if someone was like, hey, what song just sounds exactly like your era of country, I feel like this is one that I could go, look, this is a really good time capsule moment of like what it was like and what songs sounded like back then. And you know, it was poppy, it was super fun, it's stupid, but it's still great.
Yeah.
I think the video was better than the song, even though the song's great. I love the video. I love her dancing for no reason.
Except the video didn't hit for me until the dance off at the end.
Right.
Yeah, but that's half of
it.
Dance off. But that's half the video because the song is so short.
Well,
that's almost half the video. And I liked it when she stood up in that black dress and then showed everybody her panties.
That also hit, but it's kind of like the song is only 2.5 minutes long, and it's kind of like they were making the video and they got all the way through it and we're like, y'all, this don't hit. Yeah, we need to make something hit in this. There's like, can we could pay these do the chorus again and I don't know, have a dance off between the Amish and the Japanese.
The dance off does hit. By the way, we barely touched on it. We started talking about cowpoke and how it needs a better name, but like that's a great dance off.
It was. I don't really know what to say about it other than, I mean, it's some Japanese businessmen, some Amish fucking really ham-boning it up, you know.
I didn't understand what the fuck was happening in that at the end.
Well, they had been.
What the hell is this?
They had been competing against each other, outbidding each other, you know, so they've been battling back and forth all day. And it accumulated into a fucking dance-off.
Yeah.
Okay. I don't know.
Last thoughts, Tushar? Man, you're zapped today, buddy.
I think today, I'm out of it today, but this was probably my of all the songs. Seemed like the shallowest, and the video was the most like the Japanese people was funny, Amish people was a left field thing, and it's like, why'd you pick those two groups? Like, it just made me like question like what was happening.
Yeah, you didn't have enough. You didn't have enough reference points. I never questioned it because it's like, other than white Texans, that's who would be at a beef auction. I guess.
Fascinating. In that sense, it's educational.
Well, you had to, only if you talk to us about it. You know what I mean?
Right.
All right, let's give it a rating. I'm gonna go with 2 Bubbas.
Oh, I thought it was Earnhart's.
Yeah.
No, 2 Earnhardt. Sorry, my bad. You're right.
A 2 Earnhardt's is a Rusty Wallace, I believe.
Yeah, so which is also what those Japanese businessmen's favorite fetish is.
Yeah, Rusty Wallace. I too give it a 2 out of 3 Earnhardt's. A hard 2 though, a real hard 2.
I'm gonna go 1.5.
Fuck you, Tushar.
I guess I'll give it a 2.25.
There you go,
Earnhardt's.
There you go. That's how long a goddamn pit stop should take, by the way.
Which is how long that song is.
Yeah,
really super hit for me.
That's what a hard 2 is.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Not iconic.
Yeah.
You know, not the Intimidator. Rusty Wallace.
It's Rusty Wallace.
Yeah, it did good. Now he owns a bunch of car dealerships. Yeah. All right. We'll see y'all next week. Thank you, everybody.
I don't expect no shit from 2005. Bubba shot the podcast, and that's right.